I'm the first president in this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world. We'll keep rallying a coalition of proud nations to stop Putin from taking over Ukraine, doing more damage. The first major gun safety law in 30 years. And today, the violent crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office.
Well, I have a message for these protesters. When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, and funding you, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots. That's amazing, absolutely amazing. Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC.
We've said it once, we've said it twice, we've said it a million times. The truth shall always set you free. This is Tim, this is Get Off My Lawn, the mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. Oh, we got some stuff to talk about today. Joe Biden's speech to the nation, which basically was 20 minutes of nothing and pandering to his base. And I love how at one point in the speech he goes, I need to unify my base. I need to unify our party, was the exact phrase. I thought we were trying to unify us as a nation. I don't know. I thought that was the goal of his presidency from day one. No, it's not. Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech, of course, in front of Congress. So many people decided on the Democratic side not to attend. Rashida Tlaib held up her sign that says war criminals because we're not a divided nation. We are. You saw in the beginning of the video all these peaceful people coming here to express their ideas and blatant hatred for America, blatant hatred for democracy, for liberty. You watch those videos of those protesters. You watch them taking down the American flag, hanging the Palestinian flag, burning the American flag, writing the graffiti, chasing people down the crowd saying, that's a Zionist. What country do we fucking live in right now? I have no idea. Because this is the nation that has been groomed under Biden and Harris. We have people yelling Allah Akbar, supporting Hamas in the streets of America, antagonizing police officers. But Biden goes on for 20 minutes yesterday and preaches unity. Preaches that's what his presidency was. And it's time for him to step aside and pass the torch. Well, the torch right now is being used to burn down America. Nero fiddles as Rome burns. Netanyahu said it best, especially with the protesters. You're idiots. You're idiots being used by Iran and Tehran. You are. And to see this in our streets, when a leader from our only ally in the Middle East comes to speak to us about how we need to help his cause and how we need to help his country, it's the only democracy in the Middle East. And we showed this to them. This is our thought process. And to all these people that are doing the things that they're doing, burning the flag, protesting, doing all the things that they're doing, and I'm not saying everyone's that, but there is a segment in a group. They should be taken out and removed from this country. If it's so terrible, like Benjamin Netanyahu says, go live in Tehran where they hang gays, where they rape women, where it's Sharia law, and everything else, that all the other garbage that goes around that fucking third world area. If you lived next to a neighbor like you did with the Palestinians, you would lock your doors. But no, we are a country of will and freedom. But the problem is sometimes that will and freedom is expressed in ways that is vile and ugly. And that is the sum of the Biden presidency. It's vile and ugly. Because if you are not with them, you are against them. They are the party of democracy. We are going to save democracy. But for some reason, the Democrats are trying to confirm their nominee and Kamala Harris by a virtual roll call before the DNC in Chicago to avoid any legal challenges. We're a democracy, but you know what? We're gonna do a virtual roll call, so we don't have to have any legal challenges to our presumptive nominee, because that's the Democratic way. Let's do it before anyone says no. Before anyone says, hey, you know what? 11 million people voted for Biden. Maybe there should be something of some kind of understanding of them having the ability to select their candidate. Nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to get all the delegates together. We're going to do a virtual roll call. Screw this. We're going home, and it's going to be Kamala Harris no matter what, no matter hell or high water, because that's the American way. Do it in the cloak of night. Don't read the bill. You got to pass it to know what's in it, because that's what we do as Americans. Why is the party preaching democracy? All they want to do is destroy democracy. We've talked about this before. And the weakness that is this country, and people are like, Tim, you're overreacting about Russia and all that. Well, evidently, U.S. military detected and intercepted 2 Russian jet fighters and 2 Chinese H-6 bombers over Alaska prior to the Biden address. Okay. And NORAD had to scramble fighters to intercept. It's a dangerous time in a dangerous world you're living in. You have a senile old man with dementia in the Oval Office talking about, because it's very democratic, talking about Supreme Court reform, which means term limits, which means packing the court. Talking about all the wonderful things that he's done, but he doesn't mention a lot of the shit that he did that caused the problems we're having now. Why not? Why? Because he's a saint. It's Saint Joe. I love people who are like, we're so sad to see him go. Really? Because you threw him out pretty damn quick. You pushed him out the door pretty quick and trying to roll in Kamala Harris. And I love it now because there's talk of Pete Buttigieg as her running mate. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'll just say it. So you're going to have a black woman and a gay gentleman. Could you pander anymore to your base? Could you pander anymore to, if someone votes against you, like, well, you just hate gays and blacks. That's what they have become. They are the party of identity politics, and the Democrats talk about how the Republicans are, but no, you Democrats, you liberals, you are the party of identity politics, because that's the way you think you win an election. You don't. I have friends that are Hispanic saying, you know what, I'm voting Trump this year because Democrats don't come around until 3.5 years when it's time for an election to pander for my vote. But we see everything that's going on. We see Rome burning. We see this. We saw this with this protest today, these disgusting protests, these disgusting pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine protests. We saw the graffiti. We saw, I love it because how many people got arrested? I would like to know, what are the numbers of people that got arrested and they're going to be charged with vandalism or destruction of property or assault? And I love the one guy taunting the cops. But everyone has a camera now, because if it was me, I would tell the cops just to beat the shit out of him. Because you want to be stupid, there's a way to do it. Because you want to know why? You did it in any other country, the cops would beat the shit out of you. You tried doing that in Palestine? Well, Palestine, there is no Palestine. Tried doing that in Gaza? You would be strung up. But you can do that here because you have your liberties, you have your freedom. You have all those things, but we don't have the freedom to allow a world leader to come here and not have to deal with this bullshit because he's got to deal with it in his own country and dealing with it from his own ally, his supposedly best and longest and dearest ally. Kamala Harris didn't show up. Why not? Because she had to go to a sorority party. She was giving a speech at a sorority. You would think that she would have the ability or want to be part of this. And she might talk to Ben. She might talk to Blair. Trump, he's going to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Trump. You could hate Trump. You could love Trump. You can say whatever you want to Trump, but he is a huge supporter of Israel. He was probably one of the largest supporters of Israel of any president we've ever had. because he understood. Trump understands freedom. And the freedoms that are trying to be taken away by threats of violence in reference to these protesters. The freedoms that are trying to be taken away by under the guilt or the guise of climate change disaster. We have to fight it. You know what? I love when scientists tell you, yeah, the climate change is every year. We do more than any country to lower gas house emissions and everything else, but somehow we don't do enough. India and China could be plowing everything into the atmosphere, but no. We're going to save the world by destroying our own nation. You've lost your way. We've lost our footprint. And we have to sit there and have Queen Kamala save us all. Really? That's a problem. Joe can't get out fast enough. They can't get Kamala in his chair fast enough. But at the end of the day, it's all with Joe Biden. It's all about unity. Unity for his. I love that though, because it was a line. I have to bring my party together. Trump talked about bringing the nation together, asking for your vote. Biden is still being divisive in his own address. He may not even remember it, so it's okay. Sorry. But at the end of the day, like I said, you watch Rome burn. We've talked about this before, about the gentleman, the English soldier back in the 70s who wrote the article or the book about how that it's every dynasty is about 250 years, and we've rolled through that in a video prior. And I believe right now we're in year 248. So there should be cause. There should be a pause for concern. You have your enemies at the gate chomping at the bit, waiting for someone like Kamala Harris to take over Pete Buttigieg, because no one will respect us as a nation. No one will have this understanding that, we have to have this kinder, gentler nation that understands that it's not about nationalism. It's about the world. No, all these other countries are taking care of themselves. We are the only idiots that believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion is the way to go, as we watch these idiots protest in the streets, shouting Allah Akbar and praising Hamas. You know what I wish for these protesters? That the people that were taken October 7th, the women that were murdered and raped, the men that were murdered and raped, all those protesters, I wish everything that happened to them happens to you. I really do. Good or bad or indifferent, you can think I'm a horrible person because you need to experience what they experience, because you are protesting things that you know nothing about, because you're horrible, despicable human beings. I love the one woman that gentleman was talking about how he lived in Jordan, lived in this, and he starts talking in Hebrew, and she goes, "Zionist, get him!" Define Zionist for me. That's all I ask. Find your way, America. Find your way. Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do a video about Red Dawn, the 1984 movie, not the crappy one that came out years ago. I want to talk about some correlations about that. And another movie that was actually done by HBO years ago with, I'm not going to get into it, but there was a movie that HBO did. It was a satire that is really weird because everything that went on that movie is happening now. So we're going to talk about the next episode. It's not always remember this. The truth shall always set you free. This is Tim. This got my lawn. The mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. And I'm out of here.